Hello there. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're back here on the Saturday with another Battle of the Masterpiece albums. So what I'm doing here on this series, for those of you who are jumping in right now, is I've taken all 61 of the albums that I consider a masterpiece, the ones that I put into the masterpiece status, and I put them into these 15 battles to determine which one of these albums is truly my favorite of all time. For those of you who don't know, Styx has had that reigned on the top with Pieces of Eight now for about 5 years. Prior to that, it was Just a Game that ruled from Triumph for about 35 years. So now I'm trying to see if perhaps nostalgia has clouded my vision and maybe one of these other masterpiece albums is actually my favorite. So we're going to find, that's my determining thing. That's what I've been trying to determine by doing this. So we are now into battle number 4. I think I said last week we were in battle number 2. We were actually in battle number 3. So this is battle number 4. And the combatants for this are Supertramp's Even in the Quietest Moments, Heart's debut album Dreamboat Annie, Neil Young's Harvest, and last but certainly not least, Genesis Selling England by the Pound. Those are the 4 albums in the contest for today. So what I'm going to do is what I've been doing so far along. Talk a little bit about each album, what I like, what I don't like, that kind of thing. Maybe talk about a few songs on each album that I like. And then after that's all said and done, I will give you the ranking. So what I've also done is most of these albums are well listened to by me. Many of them burned out, actually, from just overplay over the years. But I did listen to each and every one of them so that I could get maybe a fresh perspective on them. Some of them are still kind of burned out. Others, not so much. So today, we're going to start, we'll do them in the order I presented them to you, just because it makes it easier to keep track. So the first one on the list, of course, Supertramp's Even in the Quietest Moments. A 77 release. I think this was their fifth album. I think it was their 5th studio album. I'm not 100% sure. So this one really came to prominence with me back when my daughter was about 4. So I had bought all this remaining I bought 3 more Supertramps other than my Breakfast in America, which I'd owned forever. I bought this one, Crisis, What Crisis, and this always happens to me. The most obvious one, Crime of the Century. I lose track of where I'm going with it. So anyways, I fixed up this cover and everything. It was all cracked and broken, but it's fixed. So when I bought this, when I was driving to New York, I took my daughter to New York for a week or a weekend. It might have been a weekend. I can't remember exactly. So this was one of the CDs in the car. I was just starting to get into it and listen to it the entire time there. So my memories of this album, whenever I play, go back to that trip. So it's kind of a good thing. And there's a couple songs. Well, there's one song on here that really makes me sad. So it always brings tears to my eyes. So I try to not listen to it too closely. So anyways, I did listen to this album in its entirety today. There's a lot of really good Supertramp stuff on this album. Definitely was destined to be a masterpiece. I don't know if it's as good as Breakfast in America or Crime of the Century. I think they're probably better albums. But this one has a lot of really good stuff on it. Give a Little Bit, of course, is the song that most people will know. Got a lot of radio play. A pretty good poppy song. Even in the Quietest Moment is the ones that always brings tears to my eyes. Difficult song for me to listen to at times, but just so fantastic. I love it. It's probably in my top 5 Supertramp songs for sure. Babaji, of course, a well-known track for most people who listen to Supertramp. I definitely rank this as a top 10 for sure. Great tune. Love everything about it. It's one of those songs I like to sing along to, too. Then you've got Fool's Overture, which I think is the longest track on the album, obviously, but also the most, I think, underrated. Most people who are not Supertramp fans may not know this song. And it's actually, I don't know if anybody's ever noticed this, but if you look at the piano on the cover, if you look at the score, it's the score for Fool's Overture. So actually, this is a great album. I like the back part too. It's kind of shattered, which is kind of what this song makes me feel at times. This album, great album. I love it. And today I listened to it. I felt like it was pretty strong for having not listened to it for a while. Next up, Heart's debut. Many people have heard me rave about this album many times. I've done a look back at a classic rock album on it. I think I've done one on all four of them, actually, to be honest. It's a great picture of them. I don't know if this is my favorite Heart cover. I don't think so. I think probably Little Queen is. It's just almost the greatest hits of Heart. So it starts out with Magic Man, one of my favorite Heart songs. Been listening to it. It was my favorite early on and when I was younger, but not so much anymore. You got Crazy on You, of course, is another very well-known radio staple from this band. Great song. Soul of the Sea. I think this is a strong, very strong, deep cut on this album. The Dreamboat Annie, one of the three Dreamboat Annie parts here. This fifth one I like a lot. Dreamboat Annie, I think, is among my favorite Heart songs and definitely one of the strongest tracks on here. And then you've got another great deep cut in White Lightning and Wine. Love Me Like Music, I'll Be Your Song. Another really great underrated song. This album has a lot of that. Sing Child, which is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite Heart song. I love this song. Absolutely killer. It's a deep cut, but it's a fantastic one. How Deep It Goes. Yeah, this is another one that's just haunting, actually. And then ending off with the Dreamboat Annie reprise. This is a solid album from top to bottom. Can't go wrong with it. It's maybe faded a bit with me just from time, but the deep cuts are still really strong from this album for me. Next up, Harvest by Neil Young. When I got this album many years ago, I fell in love with it immediately. I got it because of Old Man. That was the one that I recognized it right away and bought it because of that. But I've also had a great love of the song The Needle and the Damage Done. Great song. I love Neil's voice on this. I know some people don't like Neil's voice at all. I'm not one of them. It's just from top to bottom a strong album. So you got Out on the Weekend. Fantastic deep cut song. Harvest. Of course, many people know this. This is a radio staple. A Man Needs a Maid. Is there any better? Is that not a atypical, beautiful, and memorable song by Neil Young? Absolutely. One of my favorite to sing too. Heart of Gold, another classic radio staple. Are You Ready for the Weekend? Are You Ready for the Country? Fantastic tune as well. Old Man, of course, maybe one of his greatest songs ever. Still love that song, still haunting. There's a World We're Living In. Yeah, fantastic. Alabama. Of course, The Needle and the Damage Done, which probably, gun to my head, would be my favorite track on this album. And the words between the lines of age, another interesting, good song. So strong from top to bottom. Definitely one of his better albums, if not his best album, in my opinion. So the competition just keeps getting thicker. And then finally, we're going to end off talking about Genesis, Selling England by the Pound. which I think is a fantastic album. It could possibly be my favorite Genesis album now. Definitely, probably, without a doubt, my favorite Peter Gabriel era Genesis album. They just kept getting stronger as they went along, and this one is no exception. Some of my favorite songs by Genesis on this album, First the Fifth, fantastic song, just absolutely killer. I Know What I Like in My Wardrobe. I would have said this was a deep cut, but I think many people like this song and have liked it. But it's a great tune, just fantastic. Dancing with the Moonlit Night, absolutely killer opener track. Very few albums have a kind of opening track like that one. Fantastic. The Battle of Epping Forest. Yeah, it's kind of a quirky English satire type song, but I enjoy it a lot. I think Peter Gabriel's kind of English whining, kind of overuse of words on it is fantastic. After the Ordeal, kind of quirky. And then, of course, maybe my favorite Genesis song, The Cinema Show. I think this is absolutely killer. I think this may be the best keyboard solo played by Tony Banks on any album. Some people might argue with me, but it's a really, really solid, great track. This album is very strong and still has a lot of gusto for me. So there you go. Selling England by the Pound. So that's the 4 albums. Now I got to rank them. Now, having listened to them, I sorted them. I was very meticulous about listening to them and deciding how this is going to go. This was actually probably the most difficult of the 4 we've done so far. Maybe the Close to the Edge one might have been a little bit more difficult, but and that one though, the Close to the Edge, I think just narrowly beating out Grand Illusion. Where here, all 4 of these were strong, but somebody's got to finish 4th, right? So for me, number 4, according to my rankings for this particular time, is Neil Young's Harvest. Hard to believe this would be 4th of any albums, but for me, it has to go 4th today. It's not as, maybe it's just I'm not as much into listening to this style of music right now, and so it's suffering a little bit from that. I've gotten a lot more into the prog in the last year or so, and this I'm just not listening to as much as I once did. I also listen to this a lot. It's one of the older albums that I have here. Probably dates back to the beginning of my CDs collecting. Just a great album, Harvest. So number 4 for Harvest. Number 3, Heart's Dreamboat Annie. A little bit of a burnout, more so than the other 3. I think suffered a little bit more burnout, but some of the deep cuts are what propped it up here to make it number 3. And number 2, lost out by probably the slimmest of margins. I mean, a little bit more of a margin than the Close to the Edge battle, but still pretty close. I think it's just the best songs on the album that's going to win this are just slightly better than the best on here. So for me, the best on this one are probably, even in the quietest moments, Baba G and Fool's Overture, which I don't think they're quite the match that you get with this album. So this is going to be number 2 today, even in the quietest moments by Supertramp. And the winner, and we'll go on to the next round, is Genesis, Selling England by the Pound. It was just a little bit too strong for the other 3. The Cinema Show, Battle of Epping Forest, First the Fifth, I Know What I Like in Your Wardrobe, and Dancing in the Moonlit Light are all absolutely killer. The only song on here I really don't like is Fool Me. I just never warmed to that song. And so there you go. That's it. That's the ranking for today. I hope you've enjoyed this battle of the masterpiece albums. We'll be back with another episode next week. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. If you want to rank the 4 albums the way you would see them, you can do that in the comment section before, or if you have anything to say about any of the 4 albums or the groups, you can do that as well. Anyways, thank you for coming today, and have yourself a good afternoon, and goodbye.